Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity's meditation service live stream. We're always happy to join you on Sunday morning and just give ourselves an hour of meditation and presence. We always start by chanting, and they say to sing is to pray twice. And we certainly know the state of affairs in our country right now is a time to start holding an energy of light healing, entering the hearts and minds of all people. There's a great change happening in growth, and there's beauty underneath all of it, but we have to see people coming from a state of love and peace as we navigate this time of standing up for our oneness and for equality for all people. It's been a long time coming, and we are in prayer and we're so grateful to God that this light and love is moving in and through all of our hearts. So we'll start by chanting. I sense the stillness inside of me.
I sense the stillness inside of me.
Be still and know God.
Be still and know God.
Calling me, calling me.
Calling me, calling me.
A voice trying to guide me.
A voice trying to guide me.
Loving me, loving me.
Loving me, loving me.
I feel the presence within me.
I feel the presence within me.
Be still and know God.
Be still and know God.
Calling me, calling me.
Calling me, calling me.
I serve the force that begins me.
I serve the force that begins me.
Loving me, loving me.
Loving me, loving me.
I join the oneness around me.
I join the oneness around me.
Be still and know God.
Be still and know God.
Calling me, calling me.
Calling me, calling me.
I feel the love around me.
I feel the love around me.
Loving me, loving me.
Loving me, loving me.
inside of me.
I sense the stillness
loving me, loving me.
Loving me,
I feel the presence within me.
feel the presence within me.
Be still and know God.
Be still and know God.
Calling me, calling me.
Calling me,
I serve the force that begins me.
serve the force that begins me.
Loving me, loving me.
Loving me,
I join the oneness around me.
join the oneness around me.
Be still and know God.
Be still and know God.
Calling me, calling me.
Calling me,
I feel the love around me.
I feel the love around me.
Loving me, loving me.
Loving me,
I sense the stillness inside of me.
sense the stillness inside of me.
Be still and know God.
Be still and know God.
Calling me, calling me.
Calling me,
A voice trying to guide me.
voice trying to guide me.
Loving me, loving me.
Loving me, loving me.
I feel the presence within me.
Feel the presence within me.
Be still and know God.
Be still and know God.
Calling me, calling me.
Calling me,
I serve the force that begins me.
I serve the force that begins me.
Loving me, loving me.
Loving me,
around me.
I join the oneness around me.
Be still and know God.
Be still and know God.
Calling me, calling me.
Calling me, calling me.
I feel the love around me.
Feel the love around me.
Loving me, loving me.
Loving me.
I sense the stillness inside of me.
I sense the stillness inside of me.
Be still and know God.
Be still and know God.
Calling me, calling me.
Calling me, calling me.
A voice trying to guide me.
A voice trying to guide me.
Loving me, loving me.
Loving me, loving me.
I feel the presence within me.
I feel the presence within me.
Be still and know God.
Be still and know God.
Calling me, calling me.
Calling me, calling me.
I serve the force that begins me.
I serve the force that begins me.
Loving me, loving me.
Loving me, loving me.
I join the oneness around me.
Feel the oneness around me.
Be still and know God.
Be still and know God.
Calling me, calling me.
Calling me, calling me.
I feel that love around me.
I feel the love around me.
Loving me, loving me.
Loving me, loving me.
Loving me, loving me.
Loving me,
Loving me, loving me.
loving me,
Loving me, loving me.
Good morning, everyone. Just want to remind you that next Sunday we will be doing 2 full services in the front parking lot. So if you're coming to that one of those services, just please pull in and park in the back. Bring a lawn chair if you want a comfortable chair. Otherwise, we will have some folding chairs out in the parking lot. And please wear a mask if you want to attend. And so that's the way it's going to take place at the 9 o'clock and the 11 o'clock service next Sunday. This particular painting here has a message for all of us. But because I have already received a phone call asking me if I'm going to speak about the violence that is breaking out all over the United States, that, over the incident that took place in Minneapolis, I am going to speak to it, but very briefly, in this way. People want to know how we are to handle the conflict and upheaval that is taking place throughout the United States right now. We are not to handle it. We are to awaken from the third dimension awareness of hate, blame, guilt, and punishment. That is the spiritual journey. That is what every master teacher has been sharing down through the ages. There is nothing one can do if one remains in the consciousness of the three-dimensional illusion of duality and separation. So, our calling is to awaken to the higher dimension, you can say the fourth and fifth dimension, the higher dimension of awareness. And that can be defined in this way. There are 2 defining interpretations of life. One is duality. The other is the at-one-ment, as it is referred to by A Course in Miracles. In duality, the illusion has us separate from everything we perceive. That is the illusion. Has the mind separate from everything it actually perceives. And that cuts us off from the reality of our interconnectedness with everything that we see, our interconnectedness with everything we look upon. So there is a rising in awareness when reality enters in to the mind. And so we arrive at that place that the Master of Life referred to as being in the world, but not of the world anymore. Not of the third dimensional conflict, suffering, blame, and hate anymore. As long as we have those emotional reactions within us, we are identifying with the illusionary concept of life. And that is the duality that separates us from the consciousness of God, or the consciousness of the One. The illustration up here, I chose it from Vladimir Kush's paintings, an amazing artist, because it is this individual that comes out of the tree to relate to us the meaning of the tree of life, which is also mentioned in the book of Revelations. So, as we are initially born into the three-dimensional world, we are born into the learning of separation, conflict, fear, pain, and death. We are born into that. And so we are like the leaf on the tree of life. The leaf on the tree of life perceives itself as being the one and only initiating cause of its existence. And yet everything the leaf has comes from the tree, is received from the tree and its mighty set of roots. Yet the leaf believes itself to be the initiating one of its own life. We need to answer the question, who gave each of us birth? And you can go right back to, if you think your mother and your father, no. Who gave them birth? Who gave birth to life? Who gives birth to life and the ongoing life experience? Who? It is the one and only, the one in all creation, and the only one creator. And so the leaf is nourished and given life from the tree of life. And as long as it perceives itself as being separate, it will live in a life of conflict, hate, blame. It may not blame itself, or it may. Quite often the leaf is blaming itself and holding itself in consternation and diminishment and upsetness. And quite often it blames other leaves. And this blaming and this guilt needs to be seen and released. There is no cause, no call for any of it. It has only meaning in the illusionary consciousness of the three dimension of separation. There's nothing one can do in it. There will be court cases, there will be wars, there will be rumors of wars, there will be disease, there will be plagues, there will be, just think about your life. And as long as you have lived, and look back in history, has there ever been a time in the three-dimensional consciousness that there hasn't been some terrible condition or circumstance or event that involved everybody on this adrenaline level of guilt and blame and fear and getting even and all the madness that goes with this limited consciousness? And the masters call us to transcend the thinking of that three-dimensional world. Transcend it. Don't allow your emotions then to be hooked into it, because as you are hooked into it, you are giving it life. And that is why spiritual practice is necessary, actually required, to still the mind, relax the awareness. And as we do that, the core consciousness of the tree becomes revealed to us. So we are no longer operating from the illusion of separation. We know there is a greater consciousness that feeds us and gives us life and breath and calls us to a higher level where there is peace and insight and understanding. And while we still remain in the world on this physical level, we are no longer driven this way and that way, tossed to and fro by every changing insanity that goes on in the outer directed illusion. And you know, the preacher in the book of Ecclesiastes talks about us on this limited level as chasing the wind, fighting with the wind, trying to control the wind. That's what the leaves are doing until they awaken to the consciousness of the tree. And in all of this, the masters have attempted to get across to us the truth of our awareness in the divine. So can we have this next PowerPoint, please? You can read this in the book of Acts, chapter 17, verses 26 to 28. And God made from every nation of men to live on all the face of the earth, having determined allotted periods and the boundaries of their habitation, that they should seek God in the hope that they may feel after him and find him. Yet he is not far from each one of us, for in him we live and move and have our being, as even some of your poets have said, for we are indeed his offspring. And God made from one every nation of men to live on all the face of the earth, having determined allotted periods and the boundaries of their habitation, that they should seek God in the hope that they may feel after him and find him. Yet he is not far from each one of us, for in him we live and move and have our being, as even some of your poets have said, for we are indeed his offspring. There is no other reality. We can only imagine the illusion of separation. We can only add our limited thinking and emotions to keeping it alive in our projections. This is the truth that makes us free of that. And it requires spiritual practice for that truth to become our experience, so that we live from that beautiful reality, being one with God. The tree, which in this illustration of mine is our omnipresent Creator, wants only for its leaves to live in love and harmony with each other, which is the essential nature of the tree, the essential nature of God. And when we start to embrace that essential nature, we become a healing factor in the ongoing experience of life. So we become an emissary of divine essential truth. We are sharing the forgiveness. We are sharing the acceptance, compassion, and peace, because we're no longer tossed this way and that way by the insanity. We live above the insanity. We bestow life and peace and love because we are no longer moved by insanity. It's not real. Can we have the next PowerPoint, please? This is A Course in Miracles testifying to the same thing. You can read it in the old text, page 163, or the new text, page 175. God's will is your salvation. Would he not have given you the means to find it? If he wills you have it, he must have made it possible and easy to obtain it. Your brothers and sisters are everywhere. You do not have to seek far for salvation. Every minute and every second gives you a chance to save yourself. Do not lose these chances, not because they will not return, but because delay of joy is needless. God wills you perfect happiness now. Is it possible that this is not also your will? And is it possible that this is not also the will of your brothers and sisters? Consider then that in this joint will you are all united, and in this only. Can we have this back again, please? God's will is your salvation. Would he not have given you the means to find it? If he wills you have it, he must have made it possible and easy to obtain it. Your brothers and sisters are everywhere. You do not have to seek for salvation. Every minute and every second gives you a chance to save yourself. Do not lose these chances, not because they will not return, but because delay of joy is needless. God wills you perfect happiness now. Is it possible that this is not also your will? And is it possible that this is not also the will of your brothers and sisters? Consider then that in this joint will you are all united, and in this only. In that understanding, any conflict, any difficulty, any challenge, any dis-ease that arises in our experience is looked beyond, for we know it is part of the illusion, and we can watch the illusion disperse if we are willing to bless, we are willing to release, we hold no blame. The day is coming when all masters will only have one thing to say to the rest of us who would be masters of life. Free yourself from guilt. There is no cause for it. There is no cause for blame. There is only cause for blessing and living in the higher awareness of the presence of God. That is our calling. That is the only calling. And that is the only awareness that can free us from the madness of the world we were born, raised, and educated in. The three-dimensional consciousness. If we want to know the cause of all evil in life, it stems from the unawakened mind of the leaf. All error, all evil, all blame stems from the unawakened consciousness of the illusionary idea of my individual personal consciousness, that I am the one and only initiating self. And so my self-interest must precede me into all relationships. It is just continues to destroy and create more conflict. And that's all the unenlightened leaves of life are doing, until they allow themselves to awaken and become aware of the great source of their lives, which itself blesses. The awakening shift in consciousness from the dualistic striving with the wind. Just imagine the leaves. See yourself as a leaf, striving with the wind, as though you have some control over it. And also thinking that all of these other leaves need to get control. But they can't as long as they're in the illusion. The tree is not moved by the wind. And ultimately, as we continue to practice the presence of God, we become the living, expressing presence of the tree. We become the tree's knowledge and awareness. We become the truth. And we are the emissaries of healing light in our lives. So, We must become servants of the one mind which embraces unconditional, listen very carefully to this, please, the final one of this, very important. We become servants of the one mind which embraces unconditional forgiveness, compassion, and letting all learning occur. Letting all learning occur. All pain and suffering begins as the early teaching and teachers of the leaf that is not awakened. All the pain, conflict, and suffering is the teaching that the leaves receive and finally decide they must transcend. And so they will, at one point, do the spiritual practice in which they no longer give their emotional input to the suffering and the illusion. And they transcend it. They know now they cannot force others to learn. If others are willing to learn, they will sense the truth from those that have arrived in the consciousness of the tree. And they will ask for it, and they will come for it. But you cannot force it on anyone. Their pain and their suffering is there by virtue of the divine expanse of life. It will teach the leaves to be still and know their true self. So finally, let me share this PowerPoint. That Indian name is actually translated to English Wayne, Guru Wayne. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. Regard the world as a whole, as your undecaying body, and that you are the everlasting life of the whole world. Tell me if there is any harm in doing so. Who fears to go the harmless way? Be courageous. The Vedas teach this very truth. There is nothing but yourself, true self. All good will be yours. Yea, you become the good itself. All that others gain from you will be good. And that is our calling, to take on the practice of the moment-to-moment presence of God as being divine in origin and divine in expression, willing to bless and not react, willing to pause, willing to bestow peace, willing to be free and enjoy the blessing of being one. This morning we will have our spiritual practice and meditation. As always, we begin with our Tibetan bowls, which are calibrated to the 7 chakras of consciousness, which allow ourselves to be okay. That's part of the meditation. Allowing ourselves to be okay and letting go of the world. So, if you don't have a particular meditation technique, you can use this mantra. I am in you, you are in me. I am the truth that will make you free. I am the all. I am the one. Be still and know that I am God. as we go forth from this meditation to those places we occupy in time and space. Let us go forth with a greater determination to not be so of the world that we allow our thinking and emotions to give power to insanity. Rather, be still and bless and share peace. And for this opportunity in every moment, let us feel gratitude for awakening to the truth of our being. And to this we say, Amen. Just a final word about what we are doing here. We are trying to open, but we are only going to open with the release of the regulations by the governor of this state. So next week we are permitted to have a parking lot service. We'll have 2 of them at 9 and 11. Bring a lawn chair if you want a comfortable chair. Otherwise, we will have folding chairs seated out in the front parking lot. You can park in the back parking lot, come to the front, and enjoy the service with us. 2 full services next Sunday. All right.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful.